Hi there, welcome to my views on news. Two news stories. Firstly, Ethiopian PM talked to French President Emmanuel Macron about access to the Red Sea. Why is that countries don't tell Ethiopia that it has already access to sea in terms of using Djibouti ports? What did Macron say? And any high level deals reached between Ethiopia and France during this Macron's visit of Ethiopia. Secondly, Somalia's federal member states are becoming so powerful that they're making big and dangerous decisions. Dangerous for the unity of Somalia, a threat to the unity of Somalia is the power held by federal member states of Somalia. President of a regional state yesterday made an announcement which has created shockwaves across Somalia. Let's start viewers from Ethiopia. PM Abiy welcomed Emmanuel Macron, French president, who landed in Addis Ababa yesterday. This is Macron's second visit since PM Abiy came to power. I think last time he visited Ethiopia in 2019 when Ethiopian France signed a defense cooperation agreement. Back then, Ethiopia wanted its navy to be trained, to be equipped by France. The agreement could not be implemented as after that, after the agreement, a year after that, war broke out in northern Ethiopia and military support from France for Ethiopia was suspended. Now, France wants to revive the agreement. It is ready to train, to arm, to equip Ethiopian Navy. Ethiopia more than eager to develop a modern naval force. It is planning to buy warships as well. It is conducting recruitments of naval forces too. France, as I said last night, is very rapidly losing its military presence in Africa. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger expelled French troops. Chad as well, Central African Republic, Senegal, ending security cooperation agreements with France. France has a naval base in Djibouti. It wants to secure its presence in the Horn of Africa by aligning with the leaders in Ethiopia and Djibouti. Macron is visiting Djibouti as well. Now, PM Abiy talked to Macron about access to the Red Sea. So far, Ethiopian government has announced that France announced to spend on renovation of Lalibela churches, and secondly, on the renovation building of palace project in Addis Ababa. It is PM Abiy's favorite project, but this project is unaudited. No one knows who is funding palace project. What is the total investment? People say the project is worth billions of US dollars, and that money it could have been invested in uh, projects for job creation. But Abiy is building a palace, and palace is just not a building for the Ethiopian PM Abiy to live there. It's a mega project involving several facilities for people as well. But still, questions being asked that apart from the development of infrastructure, which is creating jobs in construction industry, what is the long-term benefit of this project? And why is that the Ethiopian PM has not announced the source of funding? It seems that UAE, France, other countries which have personal relations with PM Abiy, they are funding the project. And what PM Abiy is giving them in return is not being made public. Macron and Abiy talked about access to the Red Sea. It was announced during a press briefing by Macron and Abiy yesterday. And Macron agreed to Ethiopian need of having access to sea, but he said that it should happen through negotiations under international law, respecting neighbor sovereignty. So Macron spoke in a very calculated manner, did not want to offend Somalia too. But people say, Sajid, why does Ethiopia need access to sea? It is already using Djibouti's ports. Yeah. No one asks this question when Ethiopia raises the issue of access to sea. Countries don't say that you are already using Djibouti's ports. You're going to use Kenyan ports too. What is the need? Why is the need for access to sea? It means access to sea is something bigger than just use of ports for Ethiopia. And France is backing this Ethiopian position about sea access. Other countries too, they're backing Ethiopian position. No one is opposing Ethiopia on this issue. They're only opposing Ethiopia because Ethiopia wants, if Ethiopia used force to gain access to sea. So in a way, Ethiopia has managed to make its narrative be accepted among the international community. Most countries say that yes, Ethiopian need for access to sea should be addressed. Let's see, Macron is the beneficiary. If Ethiopia gains access to sea, it would definitely try to build a naval base too. It will build naval forces too. It will try to buy frigates, maybe warships too. And France will make money. France will sell weaponry to Ethiopia. France will train Ethiopia's forces. Secondly, because Somalia, the federal member states are turning into virtual countries. Why is that? Mogadishu government is so weak, and it boasts a lot as if it can take on neighboring countries. It cannot impose its authority. It cannot enforce its authority in Somalia, let alone fight a neighbor. Federal member state of Somalia yesterday announced to conduct a feasibility study to launch its own currency. So now regional states in Somalia are so strong that they're planning to launch their own currencies. They don't claim to be independent countries, but the way they're progressing, it seems that Mogadishu will have no influence over these federal member states if situation does not improve. Said Abdullahi Dini is Portland regional president, and he announced that 24 hours ago. And he announced the start of feasibility studies. Can Portland introduce its own currency? If it does, will it be accepted by federal government? Portland, by the way, has cut off relations with federal government after federal government introduced constitutional reforms a few months ago, paving the way for one person, one vote election in Somalia. Portland disagreed with the amendments. It refused to recognize Hassan Sheikh as the president, and it cut off, it suspended relations with the federal government. Portland now planning to launch its currency. You saw what happened in Ras Kamboni, Jubaland. Jubaland forces expelled federal forces, killing dozens of federal forces. Federal forces had to take refuge in Kenya. Jubaland, Portland taking on Mogadishu, standing up to Mogadishu. Mogadishu very weak. I always say Somalia needs a strong military. It will have to build a strong military, strong institutions to protect the unity of the country, because regional states are getting stronger with every passing day. They enter into contracts with other countries without taking Mogadishu on board. If you remember, Mogadishu ordered the closure of Ethiopian consulates in Garowe and Hargeisa at the start of this year. 15 days were given for the closure of Ethiopian consulates. Nothing happened. Both the consulates remained open. Somaliland is not under administrative control of Mogadishu, but the Puntland is part of Puntland does not say it's an independent country, but still it did not close Ethiopian consulate in Garowe. That just shows how weak Mogadishu government is. Mogadishu government will have to strengthen itself, especially its forces. Thank you for watching.